The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Despite pump prices seeing a rollback on Tuesday, some PUV drivers say they barely feel its impact on their daily earnings. One transport group says they will continue to push for a fare hike until prices of fuel go down below 50 pesos per liter. Jenny Dongon has the report.
Tricycle driver Mang Ildefonso makes rounds every day from 5 in the morning up until 8 in the evening. But with the high cost of gasoline, he already considers himself lucky if he takes home 300 pesos per day. Though a big-time rollback was announced on Tuesday, this caused an insignificant change to his take-home pay.
Baba na yun, hindi namin naramdaman. Sobrang taas nga kasi ng gas. Tiyaga talaga, kung hindi ka magtiyaga, wala kang iuwi yung mga 300.
Tricycle driver Alex also has the same concerns.
Wala pong ginihawa dahil halos 5 piso lang po ang in-rollback. Gano'n lang po yun, napakaliit. Hindi po namin naramdaman yun.
PUV drivers say what they need is actual big-time rollbacks in pump prices, not done by increments.
Ilaki nila yung rollback. Ang pamasahe naman namin, hindi naman tumataas, ganun pa rin. Walang pagbabago.
This is also the call of transport group Pasang Mazda.
Hindi pa rin kami nasisiyan sa rollback na ito sapagkat kahit na po nag-rollback, nasa 62 pesos pa rin po per liter. Mataas pa rin po yan.
Pasang Mazda says that even though the recent price cut helped some drivers, they will still push through with their petition for a fare increase.
Pag nasa 49 na ho, okay na ho kami dyan.
However, transport groups fear that rollbacks as big as they may not happen anytime soon, as Brent crude prices increase again to $100 level, still because of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. President Duterte, meanwhile, urges transport groups not to resort to transport protests or strikes for the time being.
Baski anong sigaw ninyo, yan talaga ang presyo ng langis. Wala tayong magawa. And every day, tumataas yung kasi ang supply doon sa bibili natin na humihina na, wala na silang makuha.
The government is still distributing fuel subsidies to affected drivers. More than 108,000 PUV drivers have so far been given a 6,000 peso cash aid each. Meanwhile, Pasang Mazda assured the public that they are not planning to hold a transport strike, despite the LTFRB's denial of their fare hike petition. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, we are One News.
The DSWD says they're currently waiting for the official order from the Office of the President to increase monthly subsidies for poor families from 200 pesos to 500 pesos. This despite President Duterte already declaring earlier that he had ordered the Finance Department to increase the subsidy amount. The Social Welfare Department says they're waiting for the official order so that the additional funds for Ayuda can be downloaded from the Budget Department. DSWD Undersecretary Irene Dumlao tells Radyo 5 that they're already crafting the guidelines for the distribution of Ayuda while waiting for the executive order.
We are looking at the possibility na merong ibababa po sa amin na executive order, probably a ISARO or a budget circular from the Department of Budget and Management. After that, doon tayo makakapag-umpisa doon sa implementation processes. But on the part of the DSWD, may binubuo na rin po tayo na ating mga guidelines that will be anchored on the executive order.
In other news, the NBI has managed to return an 8-month-old infant to his father after the baby was sold for 45,000 pesos due to isabong. Marty Bautista has the story.
The Nigerian national seen in this video was helpless after the vehicle was cornered by the NBI Anti-Human Trafficking Division in Santa Cruz, Laguna. Cuffed and too stunned to speak, even his Filipina live-in partner was subdued. The baby taken from the Nigerian national's hands was in fact sold for 45,000 pesos. The reason? A mother's death caused by isabong. On his knees, the Nigerian national was on tears. His live-in partner tried to explain that they had only purchased the baby because they were affected by the death of their own child.
Kasi nga may baby ako ngayong namatay, hindi namin alam, hindi na ako nagdemanda doon sa nurse. Kasi nga sabi niya, yun nga napag-usapan namin, nahanap siya.
So
Kasi hindi ko rin sinabi sa asawa ko dahil magagalit yung namatay yung bata, hindi ko sinabi.
The NBI, however, refuses to believe their excuse. Based on their investigation, they believe the suspects were in contact with the original buyer of the 8-month-old.
Talagang aangkinin nila na anak yung bata, and according dun sa babae na kalibin netong isang Nigerian, hindi alam netong Nigerian na hindi niya anak tong batang ito na na-recover natin.
Investigations are ongoing and the middleman has yet to be found. The father of the child couldn't hold back his tears upon embracing his baby, whom he thought he would never see again. He still holds a thorn for what his wife has done.
sabi ko sa kanya, siguro aral na yun sa'yo, hindi mo na siguro mauulit. Kasi ikaw lang nakagawa ng ganyan. Sa daming babae, ikaw lang yata ang gumawa ng ganyan, sabi ko sa kanya. Bibenta mo yung anak natin. Kaya siguro hindi mo na mauulit yun. Kaya yun, sinabi ko po sa kanya.
The suspects, together with the father and the baby, are currently in the NBI's custody. Those involved in the incident, including the child's mother, may face child trafficking charges.
Sasampahan din namin siya ng kaso. At yung iba pang mga naging parte ng pagbebenta dito sa batang ito, kahit na sabihin mo pang witness siya.
For News 5, Marty Bautista, We Are One News.
Candidat Talks Presidential Series host Cheryl Cosim sat down with Senator Manny Pacquiao. In this special preview, Cheryl Cosim talks to Pacquiao about his plans for the economy. Let's watch this.
The past 2 years have been difficult for the country's healthcare workers due to COVID-19 pandemic. That's why if elected as president, Senator Manny Pacquiao said he plans to raise their minimum monthly salary.
Pag tayo po nanalo, automatic yan. Minimum wage ng mga frontliners natin, yung mga nurses natin, 50,000 agad.
But it's not only for medical workers. During One News Candidatos Forum, Pacquiao said he will also push for a salary standardization law and a security of tenure bill. The Senate had already passed the anti-endo bill but was later vetoed by President Duterte.
Yung Indo na yan, na-approve na namin yan, napasa na namin yan sa Senate at nagtaka lang ako bakit na binito ni Presidente. Pagdating sa atin, siguro ipopost talaga natin yan para magkaroon ng security ang ating manggagawa.
When it comes to improving the investment climate in the country, Pacquiao says he would make use of his connection with billionaires. After all, he's one of the richest athletes in the world.
Pag marami nag-invest dito sa ating bansa, ang unang makukuhang trabaho, mabibigyan ng trabaho ay yung mga college graduate, yung may mga diploma. Pero alalahanin natin na mas maraming mga Pilipino na hindi nakapagtapos sa pag-aaral. Ang gusto ko kasi dito sa bansa natin, ang trabaho maghahanap ng tao, hindi ang tao maghahanap ng trabaho.
Cheryl Cosim, We Are One News.
Aksyon Demokratiko Senatorial Bet Samira Gutok wants to be the face of Filipino Muslims in the Senate. In an interview with the Chiefs, Gutok said she also plans to introduce a measure that will encourage businesses to hire more people from the South.
Anti-discrimination bill endures when it'll make an impact on hiring. It'll make an impact for Manila companies, Visayan companies, urban centers to be able to hire from the far-flung. So I think that would be great to see our country hiring from the farther southern Philippines.
Meanwhile, another senatorial candidate, John Castriciones, flags the supposed loopholes in the country's agrarian reform programs. In an interview with 1PH's Wagpo, the former DAR secretary revealed that farmers end up fighting over distributed land, since some of them were owned by only one farmer. Other farmers also fail to get loans because they do not have the land title of their farm. And Castriones also claimed that there are still more than 500,000 hectares of land that can be distributed to the Filipino people.
As far as I can recall, meron pa tayong inventory of around 520,000 hectares of land na papamigay. Pero 300,000 of these are actually problematic lands. At may 100,000 sa may bandang barm at yung natitira na lamang ang pwedeng ipamigay sa mga magsasaka na malinis.
The Philippine Star reports that ICT service provider Converge is set to take over the franchise of the Alaska Aces. Reports say that the company owned by Dennis Uy has come to terms with Alaska owner Fred Uy Tengsu. Talks are raging that Converge is now finalizing its entry as the 12th ball club in Asia's first play-for-pay league. The sale, which is estimated to be at least 100 million pesos on top of other league fees, just needs the final approval from the PBA Board of Governors to be consummated. Commissioner Willie Marshall declined to comment, but he's scheduled to hold a press conference today to discuss the status of the franchise sale. Time now for a quick look at some of today's headlines. COMELEC says they will create a task force to investigate the alleged vote buying at the Uniteam sortie in Cavite. But Governor John Vic Remulla was quick to defend his act of giving away cash to the attendees at the event. The PDP Laban faction led by Senator Coco Pimentel slams the Cusi wing for endorsing Bongbong Marcos. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno's Acción Democrático has also criticized this move. And Davao City declares vice presidential candidate Walden Bello persona non grata. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 11 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.